Let's just hop right into it, huh? So we got a run back of the green-black mid-range Magecraft deck we had played on stream recently. This is one of the many decks that you can now find up on my website. I've got a selection of historic decks back up there, and this one felt good, so I threw it up there. So pretty straightforward deck. We've got, good disruptive elements with things like Inquisition and Thoughtseize here. We've got good interactive bits with things like Baleful Mastery and Bloodchief's Thirst. We've got good cards that provide card selection with Harvest and Cling to Dust and Sign in Blood. And then we've got various Magecraft threats here that trigger off of all these spells to close the game out. And then we've got Lovestruck Beast, which is just, a good magic card that's a reasonable threat for closing games and blocking, as well as provides a spell to trigger our Magecraft stuff. And Sedgemoor Witch is 1/1s work very elegantly in enabling this when your opponent kills his lovely lady love. He also is in love with these beautiful pest tokens. So let's go ahead and dive on into some games. Hopefully this has another reasonable set here today. With the Teamer Walker deck, you posted a diamond, huge Teamer Oko vibes, really fun. Yeah, I think that deck could use some cleanup in terms of like playing more Foros, but the core idea seems really good. Harda Korean seems nuts. I've liked that card every time we've played it, and that deck looks like it's really good at leveraging it. Casminia's felt good. Sweet. Yeah, Casminia with both Royal Scions to plus their loyalty faster and what's it called? And Kiora giving her a plus ability seems crazy. Kiora just like being able to tick up to 9. I guess I am doing this on one. I should probably play the Blooming Marsh there. I don't really have any plans in the short term of what exactly I'm playing and not playing Wargy. Alright, so this is kind of scary. I think I'm supposed to do this for the turn. There's a good chance they just kill it, but like my curve is so much better here if I have like this into this next turn. Yeah. Pretty unfortunate. Play versus the draw making a huge difference here. They only have one spell. It's decent for us. Morning, Golgali. This might be greedy. I feel like I want to keep these. Finding a Cling to Dust ASAP seems important. Gonna be a turn short on this though, right? They're gonna get Escape Crocs the next turn if they want. I'll go ahead and attack here. I assume they're gonna jump block, but I need to get through that eventually anyways. More an atheist. I think I'm ditching the tap plans here. Game 1, Crocs is hard to beat. I don't think that's true. I mean, I literally have a bunch of Clinkadust in my main deck. I'm gonna have a giant creature here that can block it. I have these to jump block, so... We'll pass here, and then we can cling to dust whatever the Dreadhorde Arcanist is going to target here. Stop and love the bomb. Thank you for the 16 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Yeah, I think the only really bad matchups the red-white deck has aren't particularly popular decks. I'm gonna take their Bloodchief's Thirst here. So that way they can't attack with this and murder the Dragonsguard Elite. They have another piece of 1 mana removal. We're probably dead here, but like the rest of these aren't particularly exciting. Easy jump block here. Was that a good draw, chat? I think we just do this now while they can't tap Village Rights up, right? Huh? I think I take this trade. Do I? I think I do. Huh. Yeah, they drew a removal spell. I didn't think I'd take it. Okay. Okay, we faded a second Croxa, so that's nice. I think it's not a terrible draw. Start with this and see where they're at. Blank. I don't want to attack here because if the Citrus Supplier dies and they flip a Croxa, I want to play this. I don't want to have to do this turn. Hey, Crimson, thanks for the 2 years. Welcome back. Good morning, good morning. Doesn't really matter when I'm exiling here. This could really use some evasion, huh? I'm just gonna chill for now. Yeah. Yeah, I don't really want to cling a Croxa though, Weens. Like, I don't super care about the 1 damage. Really? Okay. I think I'm gonna cantrip this cling here. Nice. Okay. I think looking at this board state and suggesting Realm Eater is like being super results based. I don't really think that's an effect we need. Hey, thanks for 23 months, Shadow Kid. Good to have you here. In cahoots. Thanks for the follow. I think we're just ready to smash, right? Yeah, Saura Flu is symmetrical as well, so yeah, I think that's a really bad suggestion. I think it's a pretty typical Twitch chat. We're looking at a stalled board. We want to find answers to a stalled board. Something like Demonic Embrace is fine, but I feel like recommending that after like this one game that we've played is super narrow. Like we're not even losing this game. So like again, I'm not even like really sure that like you're addressing a problem that we have. I think just like playing multiple big things seems like a good plan. I have Witch for board stalls too. Like, you know, I know my Witch died and we're 27 cards into my deck with only one Witch, but like... Again, you gotta ask yourself, like, what are your average case scenarios look like? We didn't have a Command the Dreadhorde submission. I don't know what you're referring to. Or if we did, I missed it. I'll have to go back and double check. Things were crazy in there. I might have... If you submitted a Command the Dreadhorde build around and I didn't get to it, let me know what day and whatever you donated for it. And I'll check. Sometimes when things get crazy, I miss things. Alright, I think we've been thoroughly picked apart, Chip. Claim the firstborn, rearing its ugly head. We also, like, again, like, talking about being results-based and thinking about average case scenarios, we also have 4 copies of... We also have 4 copies of the Magecraft thing in our deck, right? Last Thursday, I will make a note. I definitely didn't play that, so I probably missed it if you did that. Apologies. Check last Thursday, 4 5k bits for yeah. So like, I really think that people are like, Jeff, you need some evasion, are being unreasonable. I don't think that that's an accurate summation of this deck or this matchup on average. I know it's this current state, but again, making adjustments to your deck every time you experience one thing, you got to be asking yourself, how often does this happen? Do we have other solutions to it? And like, we already have lots of solutions, like what's going on here. I drew one of them in 29 cards, but that doesn't mean I should change my deck list. You know, how often am I only going to see one copy of those 8 cards and 29 cards? What's the math say? 8 sample size, 29 number of successes, 2. Or 97% of the time, we're going to see 2 of them in the top half of our deck. Monotomb, thanks for the 15 months. Welcome back. I didn't play this out because I think we're just clinging here. Because, again, I think at this point we need to find our drain card to stabilize here. So I'm going to go ahead and prioritize using my mana to cantrip this turn. Oh, no trample there. I agree, Alec. In fact, a lot of the reason why these various mid-range decks, like this deck and Red-White and Dead Guy Ale, have been playable in this post-Strixhaven world is because Jund food and stuff has been pushed out of the format. These disruptive decks that depend on small creatures that are really bad against, you know, 4 Claim the Firstborn have had more room to play around because those decks are less common. Monotomb, thanks for the 15 months. Baham, thanks for the follow. What a weird attack. Is this attack lethal? This attack isn't lethal, it feels kind of weird. I guess they just want to gain life. Do I want to trade this for a token? Probably not. Means I can't attack with Lovestruck Beast if I want to next turn. Nah, I mean they left back this Pyromancer. Which is the part that, because it wasn't just an attack with everything, right? Which is the part that felt weird to me. It's for the 4 years, admin. Welcome back. I'm supposed to block that and pump and then cling it. That was a thing I was supposed to do. 2, 3, 6. Am I dead to playing this out? They're gonna hit me. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blockers. They have 7, 11 attackers. So I'm gonna take 4. Yeah, I'm dead. Otisock, thanks for the prime. Welcome to the channel. It's pretty good considering how long their things stayed in play there. Their Luris and stuff. So again, all of these discard beer matches, you want to cut all of your discard spells post board. You just want as many of your cards to play to the board as possible. You don't want to be like that last game, right? Was a great example. There were some turns in the mid game there. Yeah, we drew a bunch. Not only did I fail to draw second Sedgemoor Witch or any of our Witherbloom Apprentices to be able to close the game out, but we also drew a bunch of Thoughtseizes and Inquisitions when our opponent was already on the board. And while these cards are good in, the control and the combo matchups, they're not good in a place like this where being on the board is the thing that's important. Watched you on and off since Modern was fun. It's been, depending on who you are, it's been a long time then. Oh, Splinter Twin. Oh, Splinter Twin. I think Lovestruck Beast actually probably comes out here. Actually, would I rather trim Lovestruck Beast or Dragonsguard Elite? I think I'd rather trim Dragonsguard Elite, just like the big dumb beaters, kinda whatever here. And this is at least a Magecraft thing to trigger Witherbloom and Sedgemoor Witch. You missed Birthing Bot. I really... Actually, you know what? I'm going to put Ceratops in my deck over the Elite because it tramples. I really hope they give us Birthing Pot into Historic. Scissor! Thank you for the 28 months. And S-Bird, thanks for the follow. If they put Phyrexian mana on this platform... We have Phyrexian mana thanks to what's it called? Tezzeret's Gambit. If that wasn't low key a way to get Phyrex Birthing Pot onto this platform, I'll be very disappointed. This hand's fine. Opponent left their discard spells in the discard mirror. Good to know. You'll learn a lot about a person, chat. Probably just clinging the spell in their bin here to draw a card to try and hit a land drop for next turn. Penguin. NTA Boy, thanks for the follow. Good morning. Well, better than a brick, I suppose. It doesn't get us to Witchy Poo this turn, but Beggars shan't be choosers. Hope we get him to Torak and Historic. That would be a card I would wager is never coming. That's what I would describe as an offensively powerful card. I don't think I want to play Witch out here just willy-nilly. I think I want to try and wait until I can get a trigger out of her in the same turn. The birthing pod ban was 6 years ago. Whew. Well, that's rude. It's funny that they brought in Soul Guide Lantern just because I was clinging them. I guess that's fair. They could, like, tag my cling and then draw a card with it. Good chance that Witherbloom Apprentice dies before it triggers here, but... Feed the swarm, sure. The swarm has been fed. Untapped land's actually not a terrible draw next turn for the shifty boy. Now that they deployed a threat that we care about, we can go Witch into Thirst here. Horn and Slam in. Yep. Now, if they have... Yeah, they have a red source. We could get double Croxid here. Well, I guess they couldn't double Crox us, right? Because I'd exile their graveyard in response. I'm gonna go ahead and tag them out here. Make them start rebuilding. Hey, thanks for the 2 months, T-Money. I appreciate that. Welcome back. That is an aggressive play out of Luris. Nah, I don't think Gyrood is a playable card. Think it's right to just kill the Luris and smack them rather than exile their boon. Oh, this does mean I get double Croxid here. Huh? Yeah, maybe I'm supposed to hold the land to play around double Croxa. Well, they do need a land because of Phyrexian Tower. Maybe we'll get lucky and they don't have untapped land. Sick. Okay, don't play a discard spell. Don't do it. Have a heart. My Scooz is hungry, chat. He just needs to eat. There's 6 cards in here. I'm going to take a Stitcher Supplier and a Fame, I think. I think if they want to play an instant and then trade this plus an instant for this, I'm fine with that. Oh, they could have sacked Crocs in response, you're right. Yeah, they probably missed that. I missed it. No blocks. 12. Honestly, this is a card that's like, obviously it's fallen down in popularity a little bit, but this is a card that surprised me made it into this format too. This is a really, really dangerous design overall. So I don't want to trade this for 2 Pyromancer tokens, so I'm not going to attack this turn. Cling. Cling's easily going to be a historic format staple. Card's very good. Stoic, thanks for the follow. Good morning. 30 minutes into game, match 1 here. Or mid-range deck. Might be a longer set. I think I'm happy with how we boarded. Our Scavenging Ooze and Soul Guide Lantern both being very excellent that game. I think the opponent's deck's got a little bit better card advantage than ours, but obviously theirs depends on the graveyard, so the fact that like we go up to 7 pieces of graveyard hate post-board I think gives us a leg up overall. Newt, thanks for the brand new Prime. There's a ton of great people here on Twitch you can ship those Bezo bucks to every single month. Thanks for dropping them off this way and keeping me around. It's actually such a trip seeing green-black as a cantrip young Pyromancer. It is, isn't it, Precipic? Cobnerdum, thank you for the Prime. Welcome to the channel. It is really kind of strange. They have not Fringe Devil. Yeah, we've played a couple of decks similar to that Mommy Makeout. They're really bad. Not really competitive in the slightest. They're also super click intensive in a pretty tedious way. It's not really that aggressive. They turned a Claim the Firstborn into a piece of spot removal. Catch you later, Daddy. Just gonna hold up Cling here rather than playing a Knight. Thanks for the follow, Newt. Spell Center Sprite's actually probably not playable in this format. Like, not only do you not have really, like, the supporting fairies for it, but Spell Center Sprite's a card that excels in formats that have a lot of 1-mana spells in it, and while this format's become a little bit more 1-mana spell heavy, it's still pretty far from being a format where Sprite's an all-star, I think. Ooh, so this is fun. So we get to go Sign in Blood, and then shock myself, and then play 2 knights and get triggers on them. This does mean they get a window with their Dreadhorde Arcanist with me not having Cling Up, but I think that's fine. Famous last words. If they have like what's it called? Destroy target thing, we get in trouble. They also have village rights here to eat a knight. But, like, if they have village rights to eat a knight, I'm like, kind of trading 1 for 1. Because, like, I'm trading the Dreadhorde Arcanist off the table. Yeah, I think dredge cards like Shenanigans or Life from the Loam would be fine. But, like, just like the dedicated dredge cards definitely should stay. Stay the hell away. Okay, so they have village rights in here. I think I'm just playing Sedgemoor Witch. And then if we get to, like, pop off with these next turn, that'd be great. Dark Blast might be pushing it. I don't know. As long as there's not, like, Stinkweed Imps and Grave Trolls. Probably fine. Oh, fuck. I forgot about Fame and Feed the Swarm. That's a pretty big punt. Oh. And they have Crocs out. Yeah, I think we're dead. Now I have to... I still have to exile Kraxa. Probably, because they're going to be able to Lurrus it back. I guess I could empty my hand, though, too. There's 5 cards in their bin. I'm gonna be greedy. I think I gotta be greedy to win this game. They're gonna rebuy Soul Guide. Yeah, I think we're dead. You're right. I had a couple of different sequences that game. If I don't leave them the ability to kill my Sedgemoor Witch, we probably end up okay there. Maybe, I don't know. They had, like, with the Croxa in hand too and the Lurrus. Game 1 was a little unfortunate with us not having another copy of our Drain Idiot. Or a Witch in the top half. You know, there were a lot of choices in that third game. I really, the more I play Historic, the more I'd like a Lurrus ban. I think there's probably just too many of the top decks playing that card. I'm coming around to that opinion for sure. Yeah, rogues, auras, like I would put Arcanist, rogues, and auras as 3 of the top decks in the format, and they're all Lurrus decks. Correct, yes. Basically, every deck that currently plays Lurrus will still be playable without Lurrus as a companion, which, in my opinion, is a huge reason to ban it. Like, if a bunch of the best decks all do this thing and they're all still playable without the thing, you should probably get rid of the thing. Hey, Zero, thanks for 27 months. Welcome back. No, like, Wizards just, like, legit messed up when they rebalanced the companions. They should have... Nice memory lapse. They should have probably just banned Lurrus everywhere instead of changing how the companions worked. It was like the TLDR. Yeah, and that's the real part of it is that's the real part of it is the Lurrus should have been a downside, and it's just not. Like, you look at the decks that play Lurrus, they're not really giving anything up. Yeah, that's actually a super good observation. It's really weird that Lurrus works. It's really weird that Lurrus is spells, and that Lurrus is only permanents, but Kruga is spells. That's a really... I never thought about it that way, but yeah, that's super strange templating. Alright, so they're at 1, but they get to behold the multiverse here, and they get 5 looks at a Gearhulk next turn for Magma Opus. So we could theoretically be in trouble here if they find a Hulk. I mean, to be fair to Yorion hasn't really proven to be playable in this format. Like, the one deck that was a Yorion deck, I think you could argue probably shouldn't have been a Yorion deck last season. And past that, like, Sultai Ultimatum was the one Yorion deck, and it's mostly been pushed out. Alright, so I'm bringing in discard spells and some pieces of graveyard hate here for their Torrential Gearhulk deck. I'm going to board out spot removal. I'm going to bring in this because it runs past Gearhulk. I'm going to trim. Lovestruck Beast probably isn't very good. If I'm keeping Sedgemoor Witch in play, I'm winning anyways, and they can just kill the 1/1 for this. Yeah, this is the best 1-drop in this format. It's not close. Can you explain how Dead Guy Ale is not a Death and Taxes type deck? Who said it's not? Who told you Dead Guy Ale isn't a Death and Taxes type deck? I need names. So it is a Death and Taxes type deck? I mean, depending on how you define that. Like, the thing you need to understand is, like, a lot of these various Magic terms don't have strict definitions. It's like, you say, is it this type of deck? Well, I don't know, kinda. Which definition are you using? Take their payoff here. So this is a sweeper, by the way, too. Death and Tax is more a control style deck that punishes the opponent for playing things. I've never really heard that described that way. Taxes is like a mid-range creature deck that has like Taxes is like a mid-range creature archetype that taxes the opponent's effects with cards like Thalia. But again, like, these aren't really strict, firm definitions. Hey, I'm glad you liked it, Prodigy. I've had good feedback on it so far, for sure. I mean, to be fair, the reason why Death and Tax is good in Legacy is because of the land destruction. Ether gusting my token, sure. Okay, so I think I get rid of this Opus here. Or if these two get a Doomscar out of them. Good. What a useful card against Fortel. But more than 4 Dragonsguard Elite? No, I don't think so. Well, shit. I think that's probably game. They haven't used either the other one of these yet, so it's very possible this is 2 Doomscar in exile. Port out Duress for game 3, yeah, something like that. Great, sweet. I mean, Saw It coming there is better for us than what's it called? A second Doomscar would be. And we've got 16 cards in our graveyard, one of which is a Cling. So if they don't draw a, piece of graveyard hate, we've got 3 draws in the bank here. Pretty nice. And this Kling's ability to grind in these matchups is just really fantastic. I prioritize exiling things that their Gear Hulks can get back when we're doing this proactively. I'm gonna do this now in case I draw like another Abundant Harvest. Hang on to this till next turn. I don't want to get caught by a sweeper. Do we not play around Shark there? I mean, like, I need to kill them, Kicker. They could definitely play Shark, but I'm gonna lose more games playing around Shark than I win. It's not close. You speak on how you split Thoughtseize and Inquisition. Are there more high CMC spells in the format? Well, I mean, in certain matchups, I mean, it depends on what matchups you care about. So, if you care about a matchup like this, for example, Thoughtseize is the better card. If you care about, a matchup like Gruul, Inquisition's a better card. So, like, for example, in the Grixis control deck on my website, there's 4 Inquisitions and 2 Thoughtseizes in the main deck, because that deck doesn't really have a way to gain life, and it cares about trying to go long a lot of the time. Whereas this deck, I've elected to play more Thoughtseizes in the main because my deck's proactive. There's some give and take in terms of like what your... I think I'm gonna go ahead and do this now, so that way in case my opponent draws a deal too, they can't kill my thing in response. Like most things in Magic, the answer is it depends, because Magic is an interesting game. If there were a lot of cut and dry answers to things, Magic wouldn't be very interesting most of the time. Oh, I can't draw a card. Okay, Abundant Harvest.
Meditate and prepare.
Sorry I'm late.
Yeah, I like have to tuck this in.
You need to slow down.
So what's our best draw here? Probably Ceratops. That'll put us into garbage time. What's going on, Robo? I think I'm happy with how we boarded. Their foretell cards were really good there. If they're playing a blue-white control deck without foretell cards, they end up dead to our discard spells, but their foretell cards letting them hide from our Duresses and our Thoughtseize was a really big deal that game. Yeah, Reddit's good at generating clicks, so occasionally when I want to try and do that, I post content there. Actually, I finally installed analytics on my website, so I'm interested to see what number of upvotes translates to what number of clicks, if it's worthwhile. Theoretically, they generate clicks. I'm actually not sure if that's the case, though. I don't have empirical evidence that shows that that's the case. So I'm interested to see what the result is. Yesterday, my website generated 106 clicks from Reddit. Alright, well, we didn't draw basic forest, so... Am I using for analytics? WordPress plugin called Jetpack. Rich Termail, thanks for the Prime support. Welcome to the channel. Thanks for keeping me around. Yeah, this type of matchup's always been difficult for the discard mid-range decks, traditionally speaking, and for Tell, making it extra hard feels tough. It feels, we've talked about this before with other various shells, but it feels like Wizards' decision to put, it feels like the decision to create Foretell as a mechanic polarized this matchup further, this type of matchup further than it was previous, which it was already pretty polarized, so it's a little rough. I think I want to do this rather than play into a sweeper. Thanks for the extra trigger, I guess. Yeah, getting to play with the processor cards sounds sweet. Get to punish them for doing this. There's almost assuredly going to be a Wasteland Strangler, Yeah, they grab face down cards. A Wasteland Strangler, what's it called deck? Elite Spellbinder deck? Okay, well, the fact that they saw it coming my knight would imply that this isn't a sweeper. Probably another counterspell. I guess that one could be a sweeper now, though. The Strangler Pioneer. Yeah, it's Battle from Zendikar. That's unfortunate. So the fact that Witch didn't get countered there would imply that we're about to get swept. I'm doing this before I play this, so this way it doesn't die in response or get countered. So it's feels a little counterintuitive to play my spell before my Magecraft creature, but definitely correct sequencing here. How deep are we in this set? About an hour. We've actually only played 2 matches though, because we played a really long mid-range mirror, and now this is game 3 against a control deck. Apparently the end game is a 3-3, chat. For the uninitiated. This is why Bolas lost. We're 1 card short of clinging again. I come across the Quandrix command bug. Now, the Quandrix command bug only happens if you try and use it when you can't legally play it, so I've just made sure not to do that. What's the bug? It, like, locks up your game client if you try and cast it when you legally can't. It, like, lets you put it on the stack, but then it doesn't actually work. This is the awkward squeeze, right? Like, do I play out into another sweeper? They're only through 2 of them. How many more do they have? They have so many looks at a sweeper next turn, right? Yeah, I'm aware they have Narset, so Cling to Dust isn't a line. Knight of the Ebon Legion can, like, trade for... You know, it's just force a trade off with this. And, like, if they trade 2 tokens and a 3-3 for this, we'll play the Witherbloom Apprentice. Oh, right, it actually gets all of them. That's true. Maybe I don't play this out then. I'm just gonna pass. I'm gonna cling in response here because I want to, that's what I'm searching for. I want this to not die to Helix. Hey, Porpoise, thanks for the 13 months. Welcome back. Where were you last turn, Shifty Boy? I guess they had blockers last turn, so it didn't matter. And they get to impulse past these with Narset. This one definitely feels like it's slipping away here. Gandalf good against midrange, news at 11. Do I care about Narset? I don't think I do, right? So we can cling to trade here, I guess. We don't get to draw a card, though. Feels bad, man. We'll set a low bar. It's easier to be more rested than I was yesterday. I slept as much last night as I did the 2 nights prior combined. Alright, that'll be big.
Let's start at a sizzle and see if you make it to the Inferno.
Man, best of 3 is brutal sometimes. Just like over an hour and lost 2 back-to-back matches. Just like negative progress. This is, I can't, laddering, I'm so glad that the ladder is mostly irrelevant because like Laddering is so incredibly frustrating if you care about the result. Just like spending over an hour and like jumping backwards 2 giant leaps would just be like awful. Alright, so the point of me playing decks on stream is to find out what their matchups are like, and I'm sure my opponent loves their Rat Colony deck, but I'm just gonna go ahead and concede and find a matchup that I care about, because I'm not gonna learn anything meaningful about how my deck feels to play from that matchup. I agree with you that Gonti is better than Ceratops against Jeskai control. However, Ceratops isn't a slot just in my board for Jeskai control. Ceratops is a slot in my board for, the Rogues matchup, the Mono Blue matchup, and stuff like that, where Gonti's not really great. So, making that change doesn't really make sense. It's supposed to be an aggressive card to help me close out those rolls. And that's why it's important to think about, or to know, what your slots are doing in particular matchups when you're making changes like that. You want to ask yourself, okay, what role is this card serving? These just like deploy all the Magecraft idiots, then start casting spells. Open to dodge you can only play 1 spell per turn Dorko would be annoying for us. Thalia's not that bad. A lot of these green-white decks have moved Thalia to the sideboard, too. So she's only okay. Yeah, that was the one I was hoping to skip. Maybe I should have played this last turn. If I wanted to play around this one happening, playing this out played around it better, because then this would have been able to, attack for 6 there. And you can kind of see, based on our hand, like, why this is so bad for us, right? We just have an impossible time developing from here. And they kill us in the air while we can't develop. Yeah, this card's much better than Thalia. A lot of people in this format care about casting multiple spells per turn a lot more than they care about paying 1 more mana for them. Yeah, like, just think about, like, this turn without the Archon, right? We would have gone thing, and, like, pumped everything up. Bring in a bunch of removal spells post-board. The green-white company deck is one of the best decks in this format. For sure. We're gonna cut these pesky Thoughtseizes and bring in a bunch more cards that play to the board. Also, notably bringing in more instants, so that way, when they put something like Archon down, we can still play through that meaningfully. What expansion is the Land War functional copy from? I don't know. A lot of green decks are gonna love that card. Yeah, Baleful Mastery is good. It's as good as predicted. It's like not a format breaking card, but it's super playable. We've not Habal. I don't think there's enough slots in a deck for a deck like that to be competitive in Historic. If you look at all the Magecraft cards and all of the adventure cards, you just like end up with too many cards that don't let you be disruptive enough. Elvish Mystic was the functional elf reprint that is legal in Pioneer. M15, so a while yet. I'm kind of surprised they haven't slipped Elvish Mystic into one of the random sets that they've had, just because like it'd be so easy to add. I just like copy the code for this and change the name. By the way, noteworthy for the opponent here, speaking of Land War Elves and Elvish Mystic, all of your best starts in these decks involve Land War Elves on one, so if you're going to play them professionally, you want to make sure to have that every game like our opponent here. Which is one of the reasons why Elvish Mystic is going to be such a big pickup for these archetypes, is this is their best possible play on turn 1, so having 8 copies of their best possible play is big game. Oh, you know what? I messed up. I should have started by attacking for 2. I missed a point of damage. I missed 2 points of damage. Did you miss an announcement regarding Elvish Mystic? All cards that are Pioneer legal are coming to Magic Arena, which means all cards that are Pioneer legal will be Historic legal eventually. So when we talk about cards like Elvish Mystic, it's a when, not an if. Yeah, that's a good idea. Can a mod make a command for that? It's something that, like, for all the Historic we play, there's a lot of people that don't seem to know that. Delete that command. We are not taking Pioneer decks at the moment. Ain't nobody want to play Moto. I mean, to be fair, it's pretty easy to miss that piece of information. If you're not super plugged into the game. Or just super dead. I'd try one more, but like sets like this, for example, I put this deck up on my site, and it's currently in the high potential category. After experiencing the games that I've played today, I'll probably downgrade it to fan favorite. Like the deck's playing good cards and has a cohesive strategy, but like compared to like the Lurrus mid-range decks in the format, for example, probably not quite strong enough. Definitely been feeling outclassed in a lot of these games that we've played. I mean, sample sizes are of relevance too. Like last time we played a similar sample size and things went well, and I've had plenty of people in the subs Discord that have said they've played it well and gotten to Mythic or Platinum or Diamond or whatever their goal was with it. It's Energy and Marvel plus Ulamog not good enough for the format. So far, it's not proven to be competitive, no. Maybe that should have been black because of Sign in Blood. Yeah, historic as a whole is a really great format space. They've really done a great job of crafting something that feels very unique. This no longer feels like Pioneer Light or Standard Plus. With the addition of the archives, it's really come into its own. Yeah, honestly, I think we just like Shock and Mastery here, huh? And like crack them for 6. It says Menace. And then next turn, we kind of get to pippity pop off with the Magecraft Orcos. Yeah, if you would have told me during spoiler season that Tainted Pack was going to be the best combo card out of the set, I don't think I would have believed you. But 2 weeks into the format now, I think that's definitely the case. As much as I want to get another one of these charging, can I just do that? Maybe I can, actually. And we just plan to, like, cling my own thing here. Oh, crap. They have Scavenging Ooze, so I should have done this at sorcery speed. That's fine. Maybe they attack and let me eat this. I'll still get the 1/1 counter, but I'm not going to get to draw a card. There's also too, like that. We've had some slops in these games here, too. On my part. Alright, never mind calculated shit. Huh? Do I want to trade? I feel like the answer is no, right? So, something that's kind of funny is I can Baleful Mastery the Regisaur. Or sorry, I can Baleful Mastery the Pelt Collector. The Regisaur makes them discard the card. Might be a play worth making here. I can also Witherbloom now, and then Bloodchief's Thirst is probably the play. Magical Jobo, thanks for the half a year. Welcome back. I appreciate that. Is Noble Hierarch too good? I think I'd prefer Birds of Paradise to Noble Hierarch being added to the format. No, definitely, Pachug. All decks that are full of cheap spells that give you lots of sequencing permutations, definitely more difficult to play than decks that are just like playing on curve. How do you full control on mobile? So if you click on the phase icon for wherever you're at, it'll let you respond to your own cards. Like if you're in your main phase, just click on your main phase. Again, this is a type of matchup where my discard spells come out, my cards that play to the board come in. Got one. It Cling to Dust. I could rather keep the Sign in Bloods. It could be a Great Henge deck. Could be right to bring in Wilt. Cream and Pickles. I don't know that those sound very good together. Thanks for the follow this morning. Monin Cordillo. Yeah, you can check out that link down on my website for instructions on how to pop on into the Discord server. I mean, I'd really love Birds of Paradise before Noble Hierarch. I actually think Noble Hierarch's probably the more powerful card than Birds, but Birds is more iconic. And it's sweeter. You probably don't play Register without Henge. I think that's strictly true. There's I'm pretty sure the green-black deck in Pioneer plays Henge Company without, or Register Company without Green Henge. Nailed it. Did you donate for a deck? I don't think I saw... Did I miss it yesterday? I didn't have donation come through for Blue Red Tempo, Zach, unless I missed it. If you send something on PayPal and it's not showed up on my end, feel free to DM me the confirmation. Alright, well we have Witch and Dragonsguard unchecked again here. Melee's great. Feel free to talk about how great Melee is all the time. It's lovely. It's kind of scary. I guess it doesn't have, How much are Pioneer legal cards going to disrupt the historic betting game? Probably not much, substantial. I would bet that if I was a gambling man, and I play Magic the Gathering, so clearly I'm a gambling man. I would bet that the most recent injection of Mystic Anthologies is probably the highest power level increase this format's going to see. Oh, I think I misunderstood you, Zach. So I have a list of decks that I'm working through, so anything that's not a donation submission, I'm not like, the only guaranteed lists I play for viewers. I'm happy to give feedback, but to play lists on stream, it generally requires a donation. Just for clarity's sake. I thought you were asking me when I said if I would play this, if you were asking if you could donate for something again, and that would be fine. But the decks that I'm going to be picking out in the meantime that aren't donation are going to be prioritizing things that are on my site, because my goal is to try and get deck list videos up there of everything that I've played. Or everything. Deck list videos up there for everything that I've put up there. I look at deck lists and give advice all the time for $0. You should chat about your deck list if you want feedback from myself and others in the subscriber Discord server. When I'm not live, I tend to be pretty active in there. I think if Wizards was smart, they would put Modern Horizons 2 cards into an anthology to attract arena people to check that out. So there's like a 50-50 chance that that happens, because they'll only do that if they're smart. Pretty happy with this 75 still. I know we lost a couple of close matchups, but one of the things you got to be willing to step back from, you know, in 90 minutes we only played like 4 full matches, and we went like I don't even know what the record is, and I don't really care. The first 2 matches that we ended up losing for sure were really close. We had game 3s that I made maybe some medium decisions in. One thing that felt exceptionally awkward too that you have to think about is the Jeskai matchup that we played felt very difficult, but at the same time, the Jeskai deck that we played against had all sorts of foretell cards in it, right? And you can't really knee-jerk make changes to your deck when your opponent is, one, playing a matchup that's already probably a little bit hard for you, and then they're playing extra cards that make it even more challenging for you. So, you know, our normal tools to be disruptive against the control decks that go bigger than us came up really short in that matchup, and I don't think I'd change anything. That's just like a pretty bad beat, basically. If so, non-rotating formats in Magic are a type of thing where if someone wants to beat you, they're going to be able to beat you. And if their deck is well positioned against yours, it doesn't mean you should like tear your stuff apart and rebuild just because you hit a bad matchup lottery. Yeah, like we weren't 0% there. Like we had play and we had some decisions, but their foretell cards just gave them that little bit of extra edge to push us out. So yeah, all right, let's slide along to our second deck.